Savvy, it's Alyssa. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing a video where I am sitting down and talking with you guys and explaining how I am able to get an apartment at such a young age. I am 20, so that's not super young, but it's a lot younger for people that do move out and live on their own. So I have had a lot of questions on how I'm able to do it. So this video is me giving you guys tips and kind of just explaining how the process went for me, and hopefully that'll help a lot of you guys if you want to move out soon and you're young as well. If you're new to my channel, I touch my hair a lot. I apologize. I normally have my hair up all the time, so when I have it down, I just have a habit of touching it, so I will try not to. I get tons of comments about people complaining about me touching my hair, so I apologize if I touch my hair. But moving out is very stressful. It's not, you know, sunshine, rainbows, butterflies as people make it out to be. Yes, it's exciting and it's something that you should be excited for. I am very excited to move out, but it also is a lot of money that you have to put up front. So at the beginning of this video, I'm just going to kind of talk about the process of how I did it, and then I asked you guys on my Instagram story to ask me questions to answer in a video, and you guys sent me a lot of questions, so I will be answering your questions in this video from my Instagram story. If you guys would like to follow me on Instagram, then I do a lot of things like that where you guys can ask me questions and I do them in the video. And currently my parents are putting this house up for sale that I've lived in for 20 years. So a lot's been going on. My life has changed dramatically in the past couple weeks and it's kind of just like crazy. I'm gonna put it all out on the table for you guys, and hopefully it helps some of you wanting to move out of your parents' house as well. First of all, I'm 20 years old, which I said earlier, so I am pretty young, and I've had a stable full-time job for over a year now, and then I also do YouTube, which is my main income. So thank you to all of you who are watching. You are the ones that have helped me be able to move out, and I'm so grateful for my subscribers and the people who watch my ads and everything just to give me revenue. You guys are seriously like amazing. I have been saving my money for years now, so, and the lighting's gonna keep going in and out, so I apologize about that, but I've been saving for a couple years now. I have a savings account and then I have my bank account. Every single time I get a paycheck, whether it be from YouTube, Etsy, or my main job, I always take at least 10 to 20% of my paycheck and I put it into my savings account, especially because of my YouTube paycheck, because Google does not take out taxes from my paychecks, so I have to take out taxes myself. So a majority of my savings account is money that I've taken out of every paycheck. Literally every single paycheck that I have gotten in the past 2 years have gone into my savings account, and that is a very smart thing to do. A trick that I learned from a YouTuber I watched about a year ago: she would take 50% of her paycheck and pay bills, 30% she would put into savings, and then like 20% she would like use as spending money. So however you want to do it, I just recommend having some type of percentage that you're putting into your savings account, and you don't touch your savings account. That's the number one thing, is that you shouldn't actually go into your savings account and even use it unless it's a complete emergency. So like I said, for the past 2 years I have been saving, and I've also been slowly collecting furniture. So I don't recommend, when you move into an apartment, to go move into your apartment and then buy all of your furniture. I just don't think it's very smart. I think that you're spending way too much money that you may not have. If you do have it, sure, then go ahead and do that. But I have been slowly collecting furniture for the past 2 years. I have a storage unit that I pay each month for, and I would just buy stuff and then I would put it in the storage unit. So I recommend, before you even think about moving into your own apartment, that you should have at least 5 months of rent in your savings account. Currently I have about $5,000 saved up, and I actually had more, but I use my savings account to pay taxes and to pay for my school. So that's what my savings account is for. So I recommend, say there's like something happens and you lose your job, you have that backup money to pay for your months of rent, and you're not caught not able to pay your rent. So I recommend having at least half a year's worth of rent in your savings account. I also recommend having at least 2 to 3 times the rent in your bank account, which sometimes that's not reasonable. That doesn't happen most of the time, but I recommend if you can't pay for rent at least 3 times, then you don't have enough money. When you move into most apartment complexes, this is the way that mine is, you have to have an income of 3 times the amount of rent. So when you go and apply for an apartment, you have to give them your past month's pay stubs, and they have to look at your pay stubs and your income. They have to look at your credit, and they have to make sure that you make enough to even live in the apartment complexes. So you have to make at least 3 times the amount of rent. So that's why I also recommend that you build your credit. A lot of people don't talk about credit. It's just not something that many people talk about in YouTube videos, but you need a good credit to move into any apartment, to get a car, to get a phone. You have to have good credit. I have been building my credit since I got a credit card about 2 to 3 years ago, and I got a credit card and I would buy little things and then pay them off immediately, and I have a almost perfect credit score right now. So when I apply for an apartment or when I applied for a phone and stuff like that, I was accepted immediately. So the first 2 things that you definitely need is 3 times the amount of rent and a good credit score, because most of the time you will not get accepted unless you have a cosigner or, you know, there's someone else that's living with you that's helping you pay. So basically for the past year or so, year and a half, I have been looking at different apartments, and I finally figured out the apartment complex that I wanted to move into that was in a reasonable price for me. And I toured their buildings multiple times. I looked around. While you're touring apartments, definitely look around at the amenities. If things look like they're not kept up to date, like people aren't cleaning things, then that may be a red flag that, hey, this apartment complex is not a good place to live. Look at the pool, look at the tennis court. The apartment that I'm going to be living in has a pool, tennis court, a like fitness area. It's not very big, but there's a fitness area, there's picnic tables, there's many different amenities. So you are paying for those as well, and if you see that those aren't kept up, then you probably realize that the maintenance may not be too good either. So when you're touring, I always recommend, you know, taking videos of the apartments, so you can go back and look at what you toured and be like, this is what I liked about this place and this is what I did not like about this place. And that's what I did. I may put the video up of what the inside of the apartment for me is going to look like. They didn't have a 1-bedroom, 1-bath available, so I recorded the 2-bedroom, 2-bath, but it's the same floor plan, just 1 bedroom is cut off.
So you're gonna have all the cameras.
That is the
My
exact
favorite
size.
thing about this thing too.
So are you saying this won't be here and I want
Right, pantry won't be there, but you'll have more cabinets.
It'll be everything else, okay.
And the laundry, yes, that's the same size. It's through the kitchen too, which means the
4 feet 8 inches for the width. Just want to make sure we can make whatever we get is going to work for
I
that.
know what you're talking about.
It's been Monday all week. I'm going on vacation Saturday in my brain. I told my mom to sit up there. You gotta put yourself out there, right?
Yeah.
My daughter got a really good job. She just turned 18 and I'm like, stop doing that and focus on your blank, because that's gonna make you money.
It never hurts to film, because if the person that's giving you the tour doesn't let you film, then that's a big red flag right there. You should be able to film what the apartment looks like so you can go back and look and see if that's the apartment that you want to move into. So I toured the apartments and then I decided that those are the ones that I wanted to move into. I went back to the like leasing place, I guess. I told them like, this is what I want a 1-bedroom, 1-bath. They kind of give you all these like floor plans and layouts, because they have 1-bedroom, 1-baths that are like 800 square feet, and then they have ones that are closer to 900 square feet. There's some that have front patios, there's some that have balconies. First floor, top floor, there's so many different kinds. They showed me each floor plan that'll be available, whether it's on the first floor, third floor, how many square feet, how much it was, and I just chose from there. I chose the 896 square feet, and it was $990 a month, and that is the cheapest rent that I have found in any of the apartment complexes literally anywhere near me. So it was reasonable for me. I make 3 times the rent amount, so I was accepted for that. So I move into the 1-bedroom, 1-bath, 896 square feet for $990 a month. That is not including the electricity, water, pest control, and things like that that I have to pay for. I put in my deposit, and I actually have the sheet that has everything that I paid for. So up front, when you apply for an apartment, you have to put in a reservation fee, which basically means that you're reserving that specific apartment and you're paying that money to have that apartment. And then you have to pay a deposit, and my deposit was $150. The reservation fee was $150, and the deposit is basically a deposit onto the apartment. And since I had really good credit, I didn't have to give more than that. But if you don't have good credit, usually they make you pay like the first month's rent or half the month's rent or something like that, but I only had to pay $150. And then the application fee was $50. I paid $350 upfront just to apply for the apartment. That's not even saying that I was gonna get it. Eventually they called and said, you know, that I was approved, that they'll send me the lease through my email and things like that. And then I had to sign up for, you know, electricity. I had to sign up for my internet, what days I wanted that to happen, and things like that. So that's how that happened. Basically, that is what happened so far. I have the apartment, I am signing the lease, I get my keys a couple days beforehand, and I'm moving in August 10th. So that's how that went. It was pretty simple, honestly, because I had the money. But if you don't have the money, that's a lot of money that you're putting up front, not even knowing if you're going to get the apartment or not. Now I'm going to answer the few questions that I got on my Instagram story for you guys, just to answer what you guys have been wondering, like how I've been able to afford it so young and things like that. The first question says, do you think you'll feel safe living alone? I used to feel unsafe when I lived by myself. Honestly, I bought one of those doorbells that have the cameras on them. I bought it on Prime Day, so I got it like $40 off. It was great. So I'll have a camera, which my apartment complexes let you have cameras, like safety things, extra locks, anything that you want to feel safer in your apartment, they let you have it. That's one thing that I thought was super great. And the locks on the doors are very, very sturdy locks that even the maintenance people aren't able to get into unless you give them a key for it. So I feel very safe in the apartment complex that I am in because I'm able to have the camera and stuff like that. And then I also own like tasers, pepper spray. I'm working on getting my carry license, so I feel like I'm going to be okay. One of the biggest things that I was scared about living on my own is, you know, being a young girl by myself. There's a lot of freaking creeps in this world, so I am very nervous because I've had instances where I go to places by myself and men have followed me to my car, have tried to talk to me, tried to touch me. That scares the hell out of me, honestly, but I can't live my life in fear. Haley's comment asked, what's a good amount of money to start out with when looking? Which is kind of what I was saying before. I think you should have at least a half a year's worth of rent in your savings or in your bank account. You should be able to pay the rent 2 or 3 times in your bank account is what I recommend, and I know what a lot of other people recommend as well. Mary Montage asked how much my rent's gonna be, which I said $990 a month, not including internet, which is I think $80 because I have to pay for unlimited internet because I'm a YouTuber. Blah, 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 blah. I may talk about that in the future. Electricity, water, pest control, and trash because I obviously have to pay for trash so that people can come get the trash. Caroline asked, how did you know which property was the one? I mean, I didn't look at a bunch of different places because honestly most of the apartment complexes that are near me are way out of my price range. I looked at the ones that had reasonable prices, and then it also helped that the like leasing lady that kind of like runs the place was super nice and made me feel more comfortable living there because she was very helpful with me. She wasn't judgmental towards me because I was young. There was a lot of places that, you know, I would go to and they'd be very judgmental because of my age. She even found out that I was a YouTuber because she asked me what I did looking at my pay stub, and she thinks it's really cool that I'm a YouTuber, and she was like going around telling all the people that worked there that I was a YouTuber, so it was kind of funny. But she was really nice towards my mom, very helpful at answering questions and things like that. So I felt more comfortable definitely because the people that worked there, because they were very nice, so that helps. And I loved the inside of the apartment. The kitchen is not, you know, updated appliances, it's not like stainless steel, but I don't need any of that. Like, I will probably barely be using the kitchen anyway, if we're being honest. I think that's why they were a little bit cheaper, is because the apartments are a little bit older. I like that, so M. Lawfern asked, will we be able to see an apartment tour on your channel once you move in? And yes, I'm getting my power turned on a couple days before the move-in day and my internet turned on, and I will be doing an empty apartment tour a couple days beforehand, showing you guys what it looks like empty. And then eventually when I get all my stuff moved in, I will be doing an apartment tour. I'll be doing vlogs. I'm super excited to do like this whole series on my channel. Stay tuned for that. Cadences asked if my P.O. box address will change. And then she also asked, what is your decorating style? Wow, the lighting is really bright right now. My P.O. box number will not change. I'm still living in the same city that I live in this house. I'm not moving very far from my parents' house just because I feel more comfortable living closer to my parents, even though, like I said, they're selling this house. So my P.O. box will stay the same. I will have my P.O. box down below if anybody would like to send me anything, and I probably will be using my P.O. box a lot more now because I'm gonna get pretty much everything sent to my P.O. box. For my living room and like dining kitchen area, my theme is black and white furniture, black, white, and gray furniture. I don't know what added pop of color I want to put yet, so I'm not even gonna worry about that. And then my bathroom is like rose gold, marble, pink kind of is what the theme of the bathroom. And then my bedroom's just black and white too. Sid with Love asked what I'm most excited for and least excited for. I'm most excited for, you know, just, you know, starting a new journey in my life, having my own place, not having to worry about, you know, people telling me what to do, like, you know, just things like that, having my own area. I'm least excited for, you know, obviously paying rent, paying bills. I've never done it before. Like, I've paid for like my phone and my car and everything, but like rent's like a whole new deal. So I'm obviously least excited for not having as much money as I did before. Goth Spice asked, when did you decide it was finally time to get your apartment? So I like to look at houses for fun. Like, that's just something I love doing. I love watching the TV shows where people are like house hunting, and I was looking at houses and stuff like that, and then we got to talking, and my parents were straight up like, I know you can afford an apartment, you can do it, I think it's time for you to move out. They weren't telling me I had to move out, they weren't forcing me to, but they were like, you can do it, and I think you're too scared. And that was my problem, is that I was kind of just too scared to move out, just because this is something that I've known my whole life, and going and living on my own will be really weird. So I am kind of scared. I'm excited, but it's just kind of a bunch of different emotions happening at once. But my parents were just kind of pushed me towards it, and they were like, let's go look at the apartment again, because I think that's something that you want to do, but you're too scared. Mona asked, are you going to be living alone, and will your sister move in with you ever? And yes, I am living by myself. Eventually, me and my sister are probably going to live together. I even asked the leasing lady, like, if I wanted to move into a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, eventually will I be able to, and she said after like 6 months or something, you can just upgrade to a bigger apartment. So eventually that may happen, but my sister needs to get a job and focus on school first and stuff like that, so I'm not gonna force her to move in with me and start paying, because she can't. She doesn't have a job. But eventually me and my sister do want to live together. I have a feeling she's probably gonna be over at my apartment a lot anyway, spending the night, so whatever. The number one question that I have been getting, which really kind of annoys me, is not that you asked it, but that so many people keep asking, is, are your parents contributing to the rent? No, my parents are literally not paying for anything. The only thing that they are helping me pay for is my car, because my car payment and insurance is well over $500 a month, and my car is almost paid for. So when my car is paid for, then I won't have a car payment anymore. I'll just have to pay for car insurance. So the only thing they're paying for is my car for me, and I'm paying the car insurance. And then I am on the family plan for my phone, just because all of us pay cheaper if we're on a family plan, but I pay for my portion of my phone. But no, my parents are not paying for my rent. They're literally not paying for anything. They said that they would buy my first Christmas tree for me, but that's about it. Like, so many people have asked me if my parents are paying for me, and they're not. I'm paying for it myself. Are you going to be getting any more pets? And eventually I do want a cat or two. I don't want a dog in an apartment. I don't want to deal with a dog. A dog is not something I want until I have my own house and have room for a dog. But I do want a cat. I do want a pet, because I need something to talk to. I mean, I have my fish and my gecko, but like, they're asleep half the time anyway. My gecko is only awake at night. so I can't really talk to them. So I do eventually want a cat, and because I work in an animal hospital, I don't have to pay too much for vet care, and that makes it a little bit easier. So I do eventually want to get a cat from like a shelter or something. I'm gonna wait and make sure that I can pay my rent and pay my bills before I even think about getting a cat. Sister Shada asked, do you think you'll be emotional when you first move out? And I think I definitely will. I've been crying a lot these past couple weeks, especially when my parents told me that we're putting the house up for sale, just because I've lived in this house my entire life. Like, my parents only built this house and we moved in, so it's only been our house. So I'm gonna be emotional from that, and from literally like probably the last time I'll be in this house. So I don't want to start crying, but it's emotional. So yes, I think I will cry like a little baby. Did I have to pay a pet deposit for my fish and gecko? No, they only do deposits for cats and dogs, and like large reptiles like big snakes, big lizards and stuff like that. But like my fish tank and gecko, they're like, whatever. I mean, my fish tank's only 5 gallons, and my gecko literally is does not make a mess. He's never came out of this cage, and I've had him for almost 3 years. So I did not have to pay a deposit. If I do get a cat, my pet deposit is $300. Someone asked, how did you talk this through with your parents or convince them? Don't really have to convince my parents to move out. I mean, I'm 20 years old. I don't convince them. Like, they're not holding me here. I'm an adult, so I can kind of come and go as I please. They're not forcing me to stay here by any means. I mean, my parents are very supportive. I know a lot of people don't have that, you know, they don't have that, but my parents are very supportive in anything that I do, and they're not forcing me to stay at their house because I'm a full adult. A lot of questions are how I'm going to be budgeting and stuff. Eventually, when I move out, I'll be probably doing a budgeting video. If you guys would like to see that, then just comment down below. I budget everything in my budgeting planner. Ow, I just hit myself in the face. My budgeting planner right here, so I'll probably be doing a video on that eventually. And that's most of the questions. I got like a lot of people asking me the same questions, so I'm just not going to answer them over and over again, but I hope that this video was helpful. I feel like I was kind of just rambling, but that is just like what happened with me, answering your questions and the tips that I have, just coming from someone who's only 20 years old and was able to get my own apartment, which is like still crazy to me. I move in 20 days. I've been counting it down. I've been kind of packing stuff up that I know I won't use in the next month, and then like my whole dining room downstairs is just full of stuff that I'm taking with me. If you have any video recommendations or anything that you want to see, then just comment down below. But anyways, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.